Hi, my name is Abigail Jonas, and this is my case study for EDL 856. We are currently starting off with what has happened in our building. A newly formed parents organization that replaced the previously affiliated PTA organization has set out to become more involved in the decision-making process of the school. As the principal, returning confused, has concerns with the support from this new organization. In the past, confidence with the PTA involvement and its positive role in the school's function. The newly formed group has previously discussed parent participation and community involvement. After calling a meeting to discuss the upcoming back-to-school night, the organization informed the principal of changes they would like to see done involving the traditional back-to-school night and parent-teacher conferences. The organization would like to see the following changes. 1. Back-to-school night should be a series of sponsored meetings focusing on one or two subjects each evening of the week. Teachers will be required to give presentations and form the presentations on their own. On the nights the teachers are not giving the presentations, the teacher-parent conferences will be hosted during American Education Week, and those teachers will be required to give up their other evenings and be available for parents to come talk about their students' performance in class. After listening to the proposed changes, the principal raised concerns about the proposals, but was ignored. The new organization continued on by stressing how the organization wanted to become equally involved with the decision and policy-making process for the school. The organization continued on by announcing they had established parental committees on discipline, teacher performance, curriculum, and total school evaluation. They would meet during the school year regularly, and the committee plans to observe conditions in the school, collect data from the students, parents, and teachers. They also plan to issue policy statements on the need for change if change arises. The committee hopes to work cooperatively with the school and principal. With the news, the principal has more concerns with the new parent committee interfering with the school's normal operations. Section 2, legal or ethical issues. As the principal, the legal issues that I feel are student confidentiality. No student information will be given to any committee member unless that committee member is the parent's guardian or parent. Teacher contracts, evaluations are also confidential, and committee members will not be seeing those. Ethical. Potential tension between school and parent organizations may arise. Parent involvement may increase if the parental committee likes the requests if they are granted, or they possibly could decrease if the requests are not granted. Stakeholders may be at risk for the future support of the school as well. Community members may go one way or the other. If they do not like the decision, they may pull their support. That is one big risk of the committee itself. Section 3, synthesize exactly what happened or is happening in a single sentence. A principal is faced with the challenge of a newly formed parental committee that hopes to become equally involved in the overall performance and decision-making process of the school, while not tampering with the day-to-day functions or upsetting the educational program. Section 4, synthesize the facts. The people involved in this case study are 1, the principal, the parental committee, and the president of the parental committee that is doing the request to the principal during the meeting. Place, Jefferson Elementary in Great Bend, Kansas. Program, parental committee, non-PTA affiliated. Section 5, review and prioritize the information. Damaging towards stakeholders, excessive parent involvement, educational program interruption, day-to-day functions are at risk, and the chain of command confusion. With parental committees involved, there could be a lack of who is in charge or who do we need to talk to about change. Individuals with stake in the outcome. Students are the #1 people at stake, parents, school faculty, and staff. What I need to know as a principal, the reasons the parents feel their involvement in the school's daily functions need to improve. The benefits they feel they bring to the decision-making process and policies of the school. Or what benefits do you feel like they bring to the school itself? With the information received, I do believe it is enough for me to make a decision on the future of this parental organization. Identify your options and possible consequences. The 6 decisions that I have come up with are as follows. Decision 1, allow parents to be involved in all aspects of the school. Parents are able to make decisions on what they feel is best for their school/district with the guidance and support from the principal. Decision 2, work cooperatively with the committee and allow them to sit on the general public meetings. Deny parents' right to vote towards board policies or educational programs, and the committee will have 0 rights to student information of any sort. Decision 3, eliminate the group from the school. Decision 4, allow for future discussions with involvement in the school and the school functions. Suspend the group until agreed upon expectations for committee. Decision 5, deny the group's request and inform the committee will function as it has in the past years with no changes in involvement. Decision 6, agree upon requests, allow parents to do what they feel is best with 0 pushback from the school. Section 7, evaluate your options. Decision 1, allow parents to be involved in all aspects of the school. Parents are able to make decisions on what they feel is best for their school/district. Some guidance from the principal. Pros, principal will still have some authority. Parents feel as if they were heard in improving conditions, positive feedback, increased parent involvement, and shows flexibility and compromise as a leader. The con, lack of educational background from the parents. Too many opinions may arise, which could cause a delay in the decision making. You risk relationships with your stakeholders as well. Decision 2, work cooperatively with the committee and allow them to sit in on meetings. Deny parents' right to vote towards board policies or educational programs. 0 right to student information of any sort. The meetings on this will be open to the general public. This will not be SIT or IEP meetings of an individual student. The pros of this shows flexibility and compromise as a leader, allows for parent involvement in meetings but limits their right on decision making. Students' information is kept confidential. Relationships are at risk for being lost. Parents feel as if they are heard and involvement increases. Cons, possible pushback or not being able to vote, so are the parents really being heard? Potential conflict between us that could lead to meetings outside of school with only committee members. Decision 3, eliminate the group from the school. The pros, it removes the problem or any future problems that may arise. The cons, shows 0 flexibility. Relationships with parents could change drastically for the worse. Community stakeholders may disagree and stop their support. You as a leader show unwillingness to compromise or work cooperatively. Decision 4, allow for further discussion with involvement in the school and school functions. Suspend group until agreed upon expectations for committee. Pros, shows authority, allows for discussion about wants and needs of the committee, allows for both parties to feel as if they are being heard. The cons, prolong a solution to the problem, temporary fix, but you risk losing parent involvement in the beginning. You cause friction between the community stakeholders, parents, and school. Relationships could change for the worse, and resources may diminish if relationships fail. Decision 5, deny the group's request and inform the committee will function as it has in the past with no changes in involvement. Pros, activities continue to run smoothly. Parents understand their role and continue to work cooperatively with the principal. No student information is at risk for a confidentiality breach. Cons, doesn't show flexibility as a leader. New committee members could be upset and refuse to help further. Friction between myself and the committee. Decision 6, agree upon requests, allow parents to do what they feel is best with 0 pushback from the school. Pros, parents are happy about increased involvement. They have been heard. Increased possibility community involvement. Family involvement could also increase. I, as the principal, would lose authority. Too much parent involvement could cause a conflict. Possible repercussions from lack of educational knowledge. Too many opinions, delayed decision making. Conflict could rise within the building, more confrontation, and overall backfire from committee would fall back on me as the principal. Section 8, choose the best option. I, as the principal, chose option 2, work cooperatively with the committee and allow them to sit in on meetings open to the general public. Deny parents the right to vote towards board policies or educational programs. They also have 0 right to any student information of any sort unless they are the guardian or parent of that student. Steps for success. I would initially begin by calling a meeting with the new parental committee. I would begin by acknowledging their request to become more involved. I would break down the areas of concern with the group's increased involvement. Legality, student information, confidential at all times, educational programs already in place, teacher contracts, keep already in place as well, will remain confidential. Breakdown of committee involvement in school attendance at events and meetings welcomed, but ability to vote on matters is not acknowledged. I would allow for discussion. It would be civil discussion. Once tables turn, discussion would stop, reevaluate, and meet later on. Section 9, imagine implementing the decision. My path that I would choose is committee members will be allowed to attend all general public meetings, offer opinions on topics, but will not be allowed to vote on topics at hand. No student information will be granted to committee for viewing. Identifying who needs to know. The people that need to know about what is going on is our Board of Education members, the committee members of the newly formed parental group, superintendent, and vice superintendent. Think about what may happen. The committee will feel that they have been heard and accept their new role. Participation may increase. Committee denies the offers of being more involved without a say, and conflict and tension may rise. The Board of Education denies their request about involvement in the school, and committee hosts discussions about further actions at a later date. We may or may not know if those meetings are taking place if the Board of Education denies their requests. Determine if you can deal with this on your own, or who needs to be involved. Initially, yes, I would invite the members to a meeting and discuss the expectations and involvement. I would communicate with my bosses that if I was hosting a meeting and discussing the newly formed group of their requests prior to hosting the meeting by myself. If the committee becomes frustrated and wants to discuss all other alternatives, I would involve the superintendent or vice superintendent and make sure they are present at the next meeting. Warn, don't threaten. Take into consideration their desire to be more involved in the operation of the school. Express the concerns and liabilities with their request, but state why they shouldn't be involved to that extent. Think about what you might do next if your chosen plan of action doesn't work. If the action doesn't work, if committee rejects the offer, open the floor back up to discussion to see if a middle ground could be reached. If it cannot be reached, next decision would be decision 4. Allow for further discussion with involvement in the school and the school functions. Suspend the group until agreed upon expectations for committee. Invite both the superintendent and vice superintendent to take part in this next meeting. My reflection. After researching, I found that there are currently no laws in the state of Kansas involving parental organizations. This sent me looking at my district's current policy, and there are limited guidelines there. With that being said, I reached out to my principal for more information on the school organization's involvement within the school setting. Communicating with him helped me guide through the decision-making process of how to handle the different organizations. While making the decision, it was essential that I kept the students and teachers as a top priority while keeping the school operating at its expected level. I feel like the decision was made in hopes that parents will be receptive of attending meetings and hearing about the current school matters without a vote. I believe this keeps our parents informed, and about the school while also allowing them to grow as individuals and parents on helping their children at home. This is my reference page. Thank you for listening to my case study.